Hello guys, welcome to another segment of Flutter tutorials for beginners. In this tutorial, we will go into the fundamental building blocks of Flutter, widgets. Understanding widgets is crucial because they are the core elements responsible for creating the user interface in Flutter applications. Flutter's UI is constructed using a tree of widgets, where each widget is part of the user interface, from simple elements like buttons to complex structures like an entire screen. Let's get started.
Okay, my friends, now what do we mean by widgets? In Flutter, everything is a widget. Widgets are the basic building blocks of the user interface, and they can represent anything from a simple button to a complex layout. Widgets describe how the UI should be displayed, given their current configuration and state. Flutter applications are built by composing different widgets together. Widgets can be combined to create a more complex widget, allowing for a hierarchy of components that represent the structure of the user interface. Widgets in Flutter are immutable, meaning they cannot be changed after they are created. When the state of a widget needs to change, a new widget is created with the updated state. Flutter uses a rebuild approach where the entire UI is rebuilt when the state changes. Now let's talk about stateless and stateful widgets. Stateless widgets are immutable, meaning their properties cannot change after they are instantiated. Stateful widgets, on the other hand, are mutable and can hold and manage mutable states. Since stateless widgets are immutable, any changes in the UI must be achieved by creating a new instance of the widget with updated properties. Stateful widgets, on the other hand, can maintain and update their internal state, allowing dynamic changes to the UI. Since stateless widgets are immutable, they are ideal for static and unchanging content. Stateful widgets, on the other hand, are ideal for forms, animations, and components that respond to user input. Okay guys, we can now head over to Visual Studio Code and write some code to understand these things better.
Okay my friends, we can now write some codes to understand widgets better. In our main function, which is our app's entry point, we can make use of the runApp function with an instance of my app class, which we are yet to create. So now let's write some code. Now let's create my app class, which extends a stateless widget. We can now write some codes for our constructor. I'll explain this in later times since we are now talking about widgets. Now let's make use of the build method.
Our build function will return a material app. And this will make use of the home property, which will return a scaffold widget. Our scaffold widget will first make use of the app bar property, which will also make use of the app bar widget. Inside our app bar widget, we will make use of the title property, which will also make use of the text widget. Now the text will display hello world app. We will also make use of the body widget. The body property, and then make use of the center widget. The center widget will take in a chart property, which will also take in the text widget, displaying the text hello world. We can now run our app to see how it looks on our simulator. So inside our terminal, just write this and click on enter. This will take some time for our app to build and launch on our simulator. Okay. Yeah. So this is how our app looks. So this is how we use stateless widgets. Okay. All right. So now we will comment out this and write that for stateful widgets. All right. Okay. Okay, my friends. In this part of the tutorial, we are going to create a counter increment app using a stateful widget. And the way we write codes for a stateful widget is quite different from that of a stateless widget. But this is not confusing. Now let's write some codes to understand this better. We will name our class counter app, which extends a stateful widget. Our counter app will have a single method, createState, that returns an instance of counter app state. So let's write the code. The counter app states class will extend state for our counter app. So let's write the code. All right. Now the counter app will contain a variable count, which is initialized to 0. So let's do that. We can now proceed and use the build method. The build method will return a material app widget. The material app widget will make use of the home property, which will return a scaffold. Inside our scaffold widget, we'll make use of the app bar property, which will return the app bar widget. In the app bar widget, we'll use the title property, which will also make use of the text widget. In the text widget, we'll just display the text counter app. Now we'll make use of the body property, which will also make use of the center widget. Inside the center widget, we'll make use of the chart property, which will also make use of the column widget. In our column widget, we'll make use of the children property. And here, we can make use of a couple of widgets. But then let's also talk about another property that we are going to use in the column, which is the main axis dot alignment, or the main axis alignment. So we use main axis alignment dot center. Now inside our children property, we'll pass the text and the elevated button widget. So let's type in the text widget. We'll also pass in the elevated button widget, which takes in some properties, the unpressed and the child property. So now let's deal with the unpressed. Which will take in the set state. The set state will take in the count variable. Now, the chart property will take in the text widget. Displaying the text increment. Now let's face the error over here. We'll just call the counter app class. So my friend, this is how we will implement a counter app with a stateful widget. So we can now run the app to see the output. So just reload the app. Now my friends, this is what we get. An app bar displaying counter app, and inside the body we have count at the top and an elevated button displaying the text increment. So we just click on it and it does the magic for us. Okay guys, we are now at the end of this Flutter tutorial, but one thing I want you to understand is widgets are the core of Flutter development. Whether it's a simple button or an entire screen, everything is a widget. Understanding their types, properties, and how they compose together is crucial for building dynamic and visually appealing Flutter applications. Okay guys, let me chip in this. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share for others to know what we are learning over here. See you in the next tutorial.